Hey guys, Travis Gillespie here. We're working with fractions today. This problem asks us which of the following fractions has a value less than 3/7, and then we're given four options below. Well, let's just go highlight those keywords. Value less than 3/7, and we're given option A is 1/2, B would be 3/5, option C is 7/10, and option D is 4/11 here. So which one of these is less than 3/7? Well, there's a few different ways we can solve this problem. The first way, I'm just going to put a 1 here for our first option, is to use Mr. G's method, which is math sense. Just use your brain and your knowledge of math. So math sense, and let's fix that H real quick. There we go, math sense. A second option is we can turn these fractions into decimals and compare the decimals, and we'll do that a little bit. And then a third way, so over here I'm just going to make a third option, is to take these fractions and find a common denominator. Alright, so let's go over to math sense first, and the first thing I want to do is just kind of create a number line here. Okay, and I'm going to put some tick marks on this number line as well, so here and somewhere down in the middle, and also on this other end. Alright, so over here we have the value 0, followed by 1/2 in the middle, and then 1 on this side of the line. Okay, so let's go back over to our possible answers here, and I'm just going to take A, B, C, and D. Without using any math, I'm just going to use my brain, kind of pinpoint where the value should land on this line. Okay, from here, let's take 3/7 and write it below. So 3/7, and let's ask ourselves, where would this fraction land on the bar above? Well, I know that 3 is less than half of 7. Therefore, 3/7 has to land somewhere before this halfway mark here. I'm going to grab a new color, and let's just grab pink real quick. I'm going to shade in this area from 0 to 1/2, just in between 0 and 1/2. I know this fraction, it produces a number that is greater than 0, but it has to be less than 1/2. So it's somewhere in here, and I'm not actually pinpointing where it will land yet. So now I want to take a new color, and let's just look at our four different options. Option A, B, C, or D. And let's actually pinpoint where these should land roughly on this bar. Let's just look at A real quick. I know that A lands in the middle of this bar. I know it lands exactly on the halfway mark. Since the halfway mark is larger than the pink shaded region, 1/2 has to be larger than 3/7. So I can mark off A. It does not work. Okay, from here, let's move on to 3/5. I'm just going to think to myself, well, the numerator 3 here is the same value as the 3 here. So I'm going to write 3/5 down next to 3/7. So I have 3/5 and I have 3/7. Let's just compare these two values real quick. Since the numerators are the same, all I have to do is look at the value in the denominator. If the value in the denominator is larger, then it's going to produce a smaller number. Since the numerator is the same, the one that's being divided by the bigger number will make a really tiny number compared to the other. Since 7 is larger than 5, this value should become smaller. Since I'm taking 3, dividing by 7, I should get a smaller number than if I were to take 3 and divide by 5. Therefore, 3/7 has to be smaller than 3/5. So we can cross B off. Another way of thinking about this before we cross B off is, well, what if we didn't write that down there? What if we just looked at 3/5 here and said, well, you know, 3 is more than half of 5. Therefore, I'm just going to write more than half here. More than half. Since it's greater than half or more than half, it would land somewhere between this halfway mark and 1. Therefore, since 3/5 lands somewhere in this range or this area, it won't work because it's larger than the pink shaded area. So I'm going to cross that off as well. It's not B. The same thing with C. C is more than half. 7 is more than half of 10. So I'm going to write more than half here. And that means that 7/10 lands somewhere between the halfway mark and 1. So I can cross C off. But what about D? Well, we can see that 4 is less than half of 11. So this is less than half. That means that 4/11 has to land somewhere between 0 and 1/2. Since it's the only answer that was not crossed off, I can actually select D as the final answer. It has to be D. So again, the reasons we crossed B or C off is because B and C landed somewhere between 1/2 and 1. However, D, it's the only one we haven't crossed off because it lands somewhere in this range from 0 to 1/2. But in the next section here, we're going to actually look at proving it further with mathematics, not just using math sense. We're going to turn these fractions into decimals or create common denominators. I'll see you in another video, guys.